Friday, the 8th of June 2018, 9:48 London. Alliance News. Stocks in London opened lower on Friday with investors cautious as the G7 summit gets underway in Canada, while BT led blue-chip gainers after announcing its under-fire boss will be departing. The FTSE 100 index was down 0.7%, or 55.79 points, at 7,657.47. The mid-cap FTSE 250 index was down 0.3%, or 65.45 points, at 21,089.26. The AIM All-Share Index was down 0.1% at 1,096.27, the Cboe UK 100 was down 0.7% at 12,995.00, the Cboe UK 250 was down 0.3% at 19,270.91, and the Cboe UK Small Companies was flat at 12,809.38. A likely, feisty G7 meeting in Quebec appears to be the main thing driving the markets lower. Investors are either worried that nothing will get resolved, or Trump will become more entrenched in his aggressive approach to trade. Regardless, with little else to focus on, the FTSE and company seem intent on undoing a lot of the good work seen in the last week, said SpreadX analyst Connor Campbell. BT Group was the best large-cap performer, up 1.5% after the telecommunications company said Chief Executive Officer Gavin Patterson will step down later in the year, and the search to find his replacement is already underway. The announcement comes after shareholders called for a meeting to discuss Patterson's future earlier this month, the Financial Times had reported at the start of the week. Patterson, who has been at the helm of BT for 5 years, will continue to serve as CEO until a replacement is found. BT expects to have a successor in place during the second half of the year. For its financial year to March 31, the FTSE 100 listed firm posted slim pre-tax profit and revenue growth, disappointing its shareholders. BT also announced a restructuring plan to slash costs, saving £1.50 billion in the next 3 years, cutting 13,000 jobs and reducing its staff by a net 7,000. Back in 2016, BT said an internal probe had found accounting errors in its Italian operation, and said it would have to write down around £530 million on its balance sheet as a result of the problem. At the other end of the large-cap index, Standard Life Aberdeen was the worst performer, down 3.7% at 351 pence after Lloyds Banking Group said it sold its remaining stake in its erstwhile partner for about £344 million. Lloyds shares were down 0.7%. The UK lender said it sold its entire remaining 3.3% stake in Standard Life Aberdeen, equivalent to 98 million shares at a price of 352.5 pence each. Standard Life Aberdeen shares closed at 364.00p on Thursday, so the sale was at just a 3.2% discount. Lloyds said there was no impact on its income as the investment had been accounted at fair value. The relationship between the two financial blue chips has deteriorated over a disputed fund management contract. In the FTSE 250, Victrex was the best performer, up 3.5% after UBS upgraded the specialty chemicals firm to buy from neutral. At the other end of the mid-caps, Synthomer was down 2.6% after the latex products and adhesives maker said the European Commission has included the company in its investigation regarding the purchase of styrene monomer. Synthomer said it will continue to fully operate with the Commission, and it takes competition laws very seriously. In mainland Europe, the CAC 40 in Paris was down 0.7%, while the DAX 30 in Frankfurt was down 1.2% early Friday. The euro was down, quoted at 1.1780 United States dollars from 1.1825 United States dollars at the European equities close Thursday. In early economic news from the continent, Germany's industrial production decreased unexpectedly in April, data from D-Status revealed. Industrial output dropped 1% month-on-month in April, reversing a revised 1.7% rise in March. Output was forecast to grow 0.3%. On a yearly basis, growth in industrial production eased to 2% from 3.8% a month ago. Economists had forecast an increase of 2.8%. The meeting of G7 leaders in Charlevoix, Quebec, Canada starts on Friday and continues into Saturday. U.S. President Donald Trump heads to Quebec touting an America First agenda which hits U.S. trading partners with trade tariffs and threatens multilateral free trade deals. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow said Wednesday that Trump would not back down from the tough line he has taken on trade. Trump will meet French President Emmanuel Macron, UK Prime Minister Theresa May and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as well as leaders from Germany, Italy, Japan at the G7 summit. The trade deficit between the U.S. and China, which Trump has long criticized, continued to grow in May, Chinese customs data showed Friday. The U.S.-China trade deficit in May was $24.60 billion United States dollars, about $2.40 billion United States dollars larger than in April, and also higher compared to the same period last year. Trump has pressed China to slash the trade deficit, which reached $375 billion United States dollars last year. Additionally, Trump wants to curb Beijing's state support for high-tech firms and alleged intellectual property theft. Traders will be paying attention to see if any progress is made regarding trade talks. President Trump is in the eye of the trade storm, and he is letting the world know he means business, and he is determined to get the best deal for the U.S. At the moment, investors aren't overly concerned about the state of play, but that doesn't mean they don't have a pain threshold, said David Madden, market analyst at CMC Markets. Sterling was marginally lower, quoted at 1.3416 United States dollars early Friday against 1.3449 United States dollars at the London equities close on Thursday. On the domestic political front, May pleaded with Tory rebels to get behind the Brexit legislation, insisting the UK has a bright future after leaving the European Union. The Prime Minister, who has been beset by problems over the Brexit process in recent days, said the UK could look forward to life after March 2019. The EU withdrawal bill returns to the Commons next week with crunch votes on the customs union, single market and Parliament say on the final Brexit deal. UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson warned of a Brexit meltdown and branded the Treasury the heart of Remain in unguarded comments at a private dinner. At the gathering of the Conservative Way Forward, a Thatcherite campaign group, he said exit talks were approaching a moment of truth. Johnson said he believed Brexit will happen and would be irreversible, but the risk is that it will not be the one we want. Before heading to the G7 summit in Canada, May held crisis talks with pro-EU Tories in an effort to avert a damaging revolt. Ahead in the economic events calendar there are UK consumer expectation figures at 10:30 BST and US wholesale inventories at 1500 BST. In Asia on Friday, the Japanese Nikkei 225 index closed down 0.5%. In China, the Shanghai Composite closed down 1.5%, while the Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong is down 1.4%. The Japanese economy shrank at an annualized rate of 0.6% in the January to March period for the first contraction in 9 quarters amid weak consumer spending, the government said Friday. The slowdown, which was unchanged from an initial estimate, was steeper than the average forecast of a 0.23% contraction by a Kyodo News survey. By Arvind Gunjan at AllianceNews.com. Copyright 2018 Alliance News Limited. All rights reserved.